The movie Sinner is a mysterious and mind-bending thriller about a forgotten past, a dark love, and a plot that started years ago. When two twin men suddenly reappear after years of absence in the lives of two women, everything takes on a mysterious twist. If you're looking for a film where every scene reveals a new secret, stay with me until the end of this video. Because now we're about to enter the dark world of Sinner, where everyone hides a secret sinner. The story begins with a character named Samaya, a young man passionate about music. Born into a religious family as the son of a preacher, Samaya, unlike his father's beliefs, is deeply devoted to playing music. Samaya's twin cousins, played brilliantly by Michael B. Jordan as Smoke and Stack, return to their hometown after years away. They are soldiers who came back from war, tired of city life, and now have decided to open a blues music club in the heart of Mississippi to serve their community. That very night, they plan to launch their blues club. To do so, they buy an old abandoned factory from a white man, telling him, "You got your money, now you have no right to set foot on this property ever again." They then start preparing the place, putting up the club's sign, bringing in instruments, and getting everything ready. But anyone who gives them a wrong look better be ready to face the consequences. The townspeople have a complex relationship with them. On one hand, they respect them, but on the other, they're afraid of them. Now it's time to gather the best singers for the blues style. Besides Samaya, the twins are looking for an experienced and seasoned pianist named Delta Slim. This role is played by Delroy Lindo, who delivers an unforgettable and soulful performance as a drunken pianist. At this point, they announce to all the black residents of the town, "Tonight is the club's grand opening. With music, drinks, and plenty of fun, we're waiting for you." Amidst all the excitement, Stack's biracial girlfriend makes an entrance. Stack has left her, but Mary hasn't forgotten him and wants to stay by his side, while Stack is basically running away from her. The twins also pick another old friend, a tall and strong man, as the club's door guard. The team is slowly coming together. Now Smoke goes after his ex-wife Annie. It seems he's still in love with her. Annie is a hoodoo healer who has written a charm that Smoke always wears around his neck. Annie believes this charm protects him from harm, but Smoke doesn't believe in magic. Bitterly, he says, "If those charms worked, our child wouldn't have died." Annie tries not to say much, simply replying, "I don't know why. It just didn't work on him." Finally, Smoke brings her to the club as the cook. The night of the club's opening finally arrives. As the neighborhood lights up one by one and blues music pours out of the windows, guests dressed in elegant attire arrive in high spirits. Everything is ready: the music, the dancing, the smell of warm food and local drinks. A joyful and exciting atmosphere fills the air. Mary, Stack's ex-girlfriend, reappears. A biracial girl with light skin, but a black soul and roots. The locals see her as one of their own because she loved Stack and still holds feelings for him. But Stack, terrified of the white racist's gaze, has decided to let go of Mary, even though his heart is still with her. Meanwhile, as the guests enjoy themselves, something else is brewing in the shadows. A mysterious vampire named Remick has silently entered the neighborhood. Using trickery and his human disguise, he deceives the people. First, he approaches a white family pretending to seek help and food. Trustingly, the family opens the door, but Remick bites them and turns them into vampires. Now, they're just like him, hungry, thirsty for blood. A few hours later, the same three vampires appear at the club's door, dressed sharply with charming smiles. They claim to be musicians, opposed to racism, and just want to have a joyful night. They even bring lots of dollars with them. But the twins, standing guard, are suspicious. They firmly say, "This place is for black people only. No outsiders allowed." Here's an interesting point. The guests inside the club, all black, pay with worthless local money, while these three vampires proudly flash stacks of dollars. Tension reaches its peak. Will the music and celebration continue, or is a bloody threat waiting outside to destroy everything? Stack looks at Smoke worried and says, "I counted all the cash. If we keep going like this and nobody pays us in dollars, we'll run out of money in 2 months." At that moment, Stack and Mary remember the three white people they had seen before. Mary says, "I'm going after them. I need to find out if they really have money or are just bluffing." But things don't go as planned. When Mary follows them, Remick suddenly attacks and turns her into a vampire. Mary is no longer the person she used to be. Now, when she reaches the club entrance, she tells the guard, "Move out of my way. I want to get inside." The guard, a big guy, jokingly replies, "Go ahead." Since Mary had been turned, she actually needed permission to enter. The guard suddenly feels the urge to use the restroom and tells Delta Slim, "Hold my place, I'll be right back," then leaves the club. Inside, Mary approaches Stack with a seductive tone and says, "They just want to have a good time. Let them in." Then she leads Stack to a private room, and just when it seems like a romantic moment is about to begin, Mary suddenly bites Stack's neck. Smoke, who's been searching for his brother, enters the room and sees a horrifying scene. Mary standing over Stack's lifeless body, staring at him. Smoke loses his mind and fires several bullets at Mary. But Mary is now immortal. Nothing can kill her. She just laughs and angrily says, "I'll get you all back," then escapes through the window. Smoke is devastated by his brother's death. They had always been together since childhood, but now Stack is gone. Forever. The party loses all its spirit. One by one the guests leave through the door, but something waits for them outside. The vampires. They are all killed one after another. This is when Anaya, who has just realized the depth of the disaster, tells Smoke, "We have to throw the dead out of the club. Only the living have the right to be inside." At first, Smoke refuses to believe it. But Anaya says a key sentence. "When you shot Mary that many times and she didn't die, it means she's not alive anymore. She's a restless spirit." While everyone inside the house is shaken and terrified, suddenly the guard, who had apparently gone out to use the restroom, returns and appears at the door. With an innocent tone, he says, "Come on, let me in. I just want to do my job." Everyone is suspicious of him. His behavior has become very strange, but he tries to convince them with plenty of excuses and persuasive words to get inside. Then, in a serious tone, he tells Smoke, "If the party's over, then give me my money so I can leave." Smoke, still hesitant, reaches into his pocket. But just as he's handing the money to the guard suddenly grabs Smoke's hand and tries to bite him. But Smoke reacts faster. He draws his gun and fires, and the guard falls lifeless to the ground. Now Smoke enters the club, but an eerie silence rules. Suddenly, from the darkness, the wild voice of Stack is heard. He angrily breaks down the door and tries to attack the others, but Anaya, smarter than him, sprays a bottle of garlic vinegar on Stack's face, and Stack quickly retreats from the club. Anaya says, "These aren't wandering spirits. They're vampires. They die with the sunrise and by a wooden stake to the heart." In the midst of this nightmare, everyone is overwhelmed with guilt. Sammy, the guitarist, says with a lump in his throat, "Maybe it's my fault. Maybe the devil came here because of me." He recalls the words of his preacher father who had repeatedly told him, "This music opens the gates of hell. Put it aside." Anaya, with hidden fear, approaches Stack and whispers softly in his ear, "If one day, one of these vampires bites me, before I turn, kill me. In the afterlife, our child is waiting for me and you." But there's no time for feelings. Smoke devises a plan to stop the vampire attack. Yet the vampires, by chanting an old dark song, use their supernatural powers to open the door, and the attack begins. A full-scale battle breaks out between the living and the vampires. The living defend themselves with wooden stakes, guns, and garlic vinegar. Suddenly, right before Smoke's eyes, Stack attacks Anaya and bites her. Smoke remembers his promise, and with a shattered heart, he kills Anaya. Now all their ammo is gone. Slim distracts the vampires to give the others a chance to escape, but they kill Slim. Remick then targets the others. Smoke and Remick clash, and Sammy manages to flee. Stack comes to help Remick and fights Smoke, trying to bite him. But the talisman that Anaya gave Smoke protects his life. Remick approaches Sammy. With a trembling voice, Sammy recites verses from the Bible, but it has no effect on Remick. Remick moves closer, ready to bite Sammy, when suddenly Sammy strikes Remick's head with his wooden guitar. At the same time, Smoke drives a wooden stake into Remick's heart from behind. Since Remick turned them all with the sunrise, they all burst into flames and temporarily die. Sammy returns to the church to his father, and Smoke stays behind in the club. The white man who sold the club to the twins has now returned with some friends, planning to kill the twins and take back the property. But Smoke seems to have been expecting this. He lies in wait, and one by one takes them down. But he himself gets shot. As he takes his last breaths, he sees Anaya and his child. dressed in white, waiting for him. He holds his child in his arms, the very moment he had long awaited. In another scene, Sammy, with a bruised face and a broken guitar, enters the church. His father tells him, "Put down the guitar. Promise me you won't fall back into sin." But Sammy says nothing. He grips his guitar tighter and leaves the church, chasing his own destiny. 60 years pass. Sammy has become a famous musician. After one of his performances, he sees Stack and Mary. Stack tells him, "Smoke made me promise never to kill you, so you could keep living your life. Now that you're so old, let me turn you, so you can live forever and keep performing." But Sammy quietly replies, "No, I don't want to live any longer." He confesses, "That opening night was the best night of my life." Stack gives a bitter smile and says, "That night was the best day for me too. The last time I held my brother in my arms, and the last sunrise we saw. For a few hours, we were all free." Sinners isn't just a vampire movie. It's a journey through time, sin, and the blues. Now it's your turn. Can music awaken our souls? Or do we just survive with our wounds? I'm waiting for your thoughts. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to join me for the next films.